Okay, now let's get started on the manager part to the Tsheets. First, when you open it up, this is what you'll see. It's pretty much the same thing. We're going to go quickly through a lot of this. I'm not going to touch on anything that we've already gone over before, but just the changes. So when you're looking at the time entries here, you can see that there's difference over here. You have this switch user. So you can click on the switch user and type in Smith. For John Smith, you can open up his time and see his time down here. You can also go to switch user and change it back to yours as the manager, and you can go through your timesheet. That's the only difference there. Over here on timesheets, you have an option to choose to search for the employee. You can also look at yours, and you can look at everybody. So those are the only different options in the time entry section. If we go up here to the schedule, we can see that in the schedule, it lists out the manager and the people below. You can select all the customers or all employees, or any detail. If you want to specifically point out one employee, you can look them up and see their schedule. You can go to My Full, and it'll show everybody as it is on full, or just your schedule as being the manager. We're going to close out of this. I'm going to close out of the time entry. We can see that we have this who's working here. We're not going to use that. It's over here as well. That is for people that clock on and clock off, more of a punch out, and looking to see who's actively working and how many hours they've put in for that day. We're not going to use that, so we can just close out of this and you'll never go in there. The next one on the list is time off. When the time off opens, you can see that it opens to the manager, Jane Doe, just as you saw in the last video. However, on this one, there's a switch user down here. So I can type in Smith. It'll give me John Smith's name there. I'm going to hit switch user. And now I can see John Smith's floating holiday and PTO. In case for any reason you need to see the people that you manage, their PTO and floating holiday, you can come here to do that. Close out of this, and now we will go over to the approvals. I am going to select the pay period, hit run report. As you can see, it's not yellow here, it's white. It should be yellow if you're pulling up all the time. And we can see clearly here that it won't allow us to reject anything. It will give us an approval, but it won't let us reject anything. And that's due to the fact that employees submitted through end of Saturday, June 29th. Our report, when we came up here and did it, was listed to June 30th. So because June 30th fell on a Sunday, John Smith only submitted it up to Saturday for some reason. So in occurrence, when that happens, we're going to have to go to custom date range, change it to the 29th, leave the 16th, and now run report. Now we'll see that we have all the time and we are able to reject the time card and all the submitted time. I'm going to grab the email that is sent. So this is the first email that you get that says John Smith has submitted his time. You can log in here and go and approve the time if you need to. The next email that you'll get, the notification, is once all your employees or all your people that you manage have put in their time, you'll get this one that says all timesheets are ready for your approval. This just tells you that everybody that you manage has now submitted all their time for the pay period. You would simply go hit the login on the hyperlink, go in, and approve the time. I'm going to bring this back over here. Now, if you wanted to reject the time, we would simply check this box, hit reject, and now it is going to pop up the email message that we're going to send. Right after here, because, is where we're going to put in the description as to why we are rejecting the timesheet. Like before in the example, I put because your floating holiday was negative. So whatever the description is that you need to put here, that's where you'd put it, and then you can send message and reject. Now, if you've been doing some back and forth and you feel like, hey, look, I don't need to send a message anymore, you can just reject it, and that's fine. Now, close out of this. And then we have the approve time. So if I wanted to approve time, I would simply check the box and hit approve the time. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to do this? Do. Of course we do. We want to approve the time. We've already been through the rejection process. I'm going to click OK, and now the time is approved. If we wanted to unprove it for any reason, we have the unapproved here as well. Just to let you know, as you may have seen, the tabs up top here allow you to scroll through the different submittal process that the timesheet could be in. It could be in unapproved, submitted, or approved, or all. If you have a bunch of people working, you might want to hit all to see everybody, but then if you only want to look at the submitted, you can click on the submitted and you'll just see the people that have submitted their time. Okay, going to close out of this. The next would be reports. You do have a lot of reports out of here. Before the employee, you only had the payroll report and the project report. But there are many other reports here for scheduled, if you're working with scheduled workers. You have this here, not yet approved or submitted, your time off balances report, payroll hours summary by employee, and then some tracking reports as far as tracking hours by employee or however many. So you've got a whole bunch of options here in order to find the right report that's going to work for you to be able to manage your people. So that is basically it for the online version. Now just give me a second and I'm going to pull up the app. Okay, so here is the app as we saw before. This is the overview portion. This is the same exact as it is for the employee. There's no difference here, so we don't need to touch on this. We also know that the time clock we are not going to use, as that is punch in, punch out. And then the next one over here is timesheets. Now we'll go over to timesheets. We'll open this up. Now you can see the differences are at the top. We have my timesheets here at the top, which of course for Jane Doe there's nothing. And all my timesheets, that would be where John Smith and everybody. And then you can also attach onto that time off items as well. So I'm going to go to the Approve tab. Now we can see that we don't have the reject button here. That's due to the fact that he submitted it up to June 29th, not to June 30th. And as you can see here, we put in the pay period of June 30th. Now how would you know that? Well, you'd have to click into, just click right on top of here, and it's going to open this up. You will see that June 30th, there's no submit here, so nothing was submitted. June 29th was submitted, but there was just no time recorded. So that means we're going to need to go back, hit the back button, go up here to our filters. Once this pops in, go up to our filters. We're going to need to do a custom date range, and we're going to go to the 16th, done, and we're going to go to the 29th, done. And now we're going to go up here to the apply, hit apply, and now we'll see that the rejected popped up. So now we have an option to reject and approve. This is how they do the approvals for the filters. You have to have the exact end date when the employee submitted their time. So just note that these are on the online version, there was a different way to see it than on the app. So just remember, to recap, you need to click on top of the John Smith, go into the detail to see when his last time card was submitted, change the filters to be able to show that last time period, hit apply, and then you'll have the ability to reject the time card. Now I'm going to X out of this. We're going to go over to schedule. This is where you would see your schedule here, or your full schedule if John Smith was a shift worker, and you would see him there. Go down here to the more. As you can see, we have a few more items here. Crew, who's working. We do not utilize this. We do not run this kind of business, so these will not be useful to us. And the other ones that you already know is the time off, the notifications, and the setting. So that is basically it for the app. I will shut off the video now, and we will be open for any questions. Thank you.